Hello, vinyl community. I'm Gary, and this is Physical Format Rock and Roll. Thank you so much for tuning in, and happy holidays. What a great time of the year. You've got little kids waiting for Santa Claus. We get to see family and friends, maybe get a little bit of time off work, drink vanilla porter from a red Sonia glass. And also, we get these wonderful end of the year videos in the vinyl community. I love these end of the year videos where people do their top albums from the year past of 2023. Well, we're still in 2023. I've seen a few of them out there. Most recently, I saw Josh from The Flip Side. I saw Chris Profis this morning, and he touched on something that I also will be touching on. He had a great one. I really enjoyed it, but I like all of them. So I figured I'll throw my hat into the ring like I normally do. So before I get on to what is possibly my top 10, I just want to make a couple of extra special mentions. And the first one is Symptoms of Lunacy. Hello, my brother. So this came out. This was done by Mickey Mafia. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. I apologize, Mickey, if you're watching this. But he put this out. He made this himself. Maybe you've seen his channel. This young man, because he's a pretty young guy. I'm not sure how old he is, but he plays all the guitar on this. He sings. He is an incredible guitar player. He's got to be the best guitar player I've seen out there on YouTube, and he made this album this year, and I highly recommend it. It's fantastic to think that this kid is mature enough to put all of this together. I know back when I was a kid recording stuff, we just had a cassette player in the middle of the room, and it sounded like shit. Anyway, check that out. Next up would be my buddy, Matthew Street, my friend, your friend. You know he's been plugging this album, right? Midnight Callers, Rattled Humming Heart. This is a fantastic album. He sent this to me. I really appreciate it. It is a pop rock masterpiece. Sounds like it could have been recorded in like 1977 or something. Fantastic band. Really like this one. Thank you, Matthew. Next up, kind of along those lines, my buddy, Josh from The Flip Side, JC, sent me this, All Sinners. This is an EP. My CD's not even in there right now because it's actually in the other room in my CD player. This is really great. His buddy Roger from Purchase Street Records is the drummer of this band. Great EP here. Matter of fact, I took the song Rise Up that's on here, one of my favorites on here, and I used it for a Cleveland Guardians hype video that I made earlier in the year. Probably one of my favorite videos I've made this year. Nobody else probably cared because I know sometimes in the vinyl community when you mention sports, people go, oh, ick, I don't want to hear it. Josh, by chance, if you're watching this, if you could tell your friend Roger to check that video out and see how I used his song. I thought it came together really well, and I liked it. That's a great one. Okay, now what do we got? How about my biggest disappointment of the year? That would be the latest from PJ Harvey. What was that called? Inside the Old Year Dying. I can't show you the album. Why? Because I've already traded it in. I realized after a few listens, I'm not going to be listening to this album. I will get rid of it. Albums are too expensive for me to keep like that if I'm not going to be listening to it. It's just, I guess my issue with it is it's kind of dull. It's just a dull album. With PJ Harvey, I expect a little more excitement than I got from that. So, yeah, I was pretty disappointed. That was like her first album in 7 years or so. Now, I know my buddy Brian over at Embryonic Robot is trying to force himself into liking that album, but just admit it, it's a turd. Okay, next up, couple surprises for me of this year. The first is 72 Seasons by Metallica. A lot of people have been talking about this. talking about what a great album it is. And I listened to it, and it is a good album. But I guess the surprise is I just don't seem to play it much. I don't know why. I don't have the desire to go back and really listen to it. I haven't listened to a whole lot of Metallica this year. Am I over the band? I don't know. Good album, but I just doesn't interest me enough to listen to it much. Maybe 2024 will change that. Now, a surprise on the positive side would be this album. What is this called again? Yeah, Should Have Learned by Now by Lucero. I knew the band. I couldn't think of the title. Why is this a surprise? Because I really like this thing. And I don't think it's something that's normally in my wheelhouse. This was actually a gift. Josh sent this to me. This is like, I don't know, his favorite band. And it's kind of a country rockish type thing. And normally I'm not a big fan necessarily of country rock. Some of it I am. I mean, I like country. I like rock, but sometimes mixed together I'm not a fan. This works. I like the vocals on here quite a bit. When I'm in the mood for it, this sounds really good. And I had the Lucero album before, and it was like, okay. But this one, really like it. The song One Last FU, one of my favorite songs of the year. Thank you, Josh. Okay, let's do a top 10, shall we? Coming in at number 10, and I don't know. I had to put them in some kind of order. Relentless by The Pretenders. Chrissie Hynde sounds fantastic on this record. She's got some great songs she's written on here. There's a song called Let the Sun Come In. So doggone catchy, that chorus. It just sticks in my head, and I love it. My only complaint on this album is it's probably got one too many slower songs on it. Kind of drags it down a little bit. Could have used maybe 2 more rockers on here, because the songs that rock more are fantastic. I mean, the slow songs are still good. Still recommend this album. Chrissie sounds great. Next up, number 9, KK's Priest. This is The Sinner Rides Again. This is a good heavy metal album. There's the band in there. Of course, this is KK Downing from Judas Priest fame. I'm trying to get this. My lighting's kind of weird right now. Yeah, with Tim Ripper Owens on the vocals. Tim, of course, was there during the Jugulator time when Rob Halford was not in Judas Priest. So this kind of has a sound that's similar to that vein. It's pretty heavy for the most part. My only complaint, I could use a little more dynamics in some of these songs. A little more stops, slows down, then come into it. That type thing that Judas Priest is so fantastic at. Still though, very solid heavy metal album. KK's Priest, Sinner Rides Again. I think this is number 8. Mindsets by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. This is a album. It's not an EP because it's got 12 songs, but it's 6 songs. It has 6 songs. They got the studio version on one side, and then they have a live version of them on the other side. But there's 6 new songs that Joan has released. They are all good songs. It's great to hear Joan still doing good stuff, and that's something I wanted to touch on that I mentioned that Chris Prophy, what I liked about his videos, he was talking about older bands still putting out good music. I mean, let's face it, anybody can put out a first really good record, a good debut record, because you've got your whole life to do it. You've got a ton of songs you've already written, you've taken all the best, but can you do it years down the road, still put out good music? That's really the test of an amazing artist sometimes, and we forget that. Not that there's anything wrong with, a new band or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But man, when an old band can still put out great music, that's fantastic. Mindsets by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Jeff Witcher and I saw her this last summer. She did a handful of songs off of there. I didn't even know them yet at that time. They sounded great. This is a good one. Next up, the latest from Doro. This is Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud. Wow, Doro sounds fantastic on here. She's been doing this for a long, long time. Still sounds great. Classic metal album here. So many good songs. My only complaint is why do a remake of Living After Midnight and put it on here with Rob Halford? That's all right. She does another song on here that's good. I already talked about this in a review. Love it. Fantastic album. Next up, Real Gone by Ali Venable. Wow, Ali just keeps getting better every album. She's still very young, early in her career, and a hell of a guitar player. Her vocals are sounding better every album. This is a blues album with a touch of rock added into it. Just a great record. Real Gone by Ali Venable. Next up, here's an artist that's been around forever, but is making another fantastic album. Peter Gabriel. This is I.O. /I.O. I think that's the title of it. I don't know. You know what? This is everything probably you would want from a Peter Gabriel album in 2023. My buddy Mike over at PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, already did a really good review of that. Please go check that out. And he did a better job of it than I could do here, and because I'm trying to get through these things quick, but I love it. Sounds great. Peter Gabriel is a fantastic voice. Sometimes he sounds like he did back when he was in Genesis back in the day. Next up, Jericho by the band Last in Line. If you're not familiar with Last in Line, get yourself familiar. This is the band that was with Dio on his first 3 solo albums. After Ronnie passed away, the other members got back together to jam. They got Andrew Freeman to sing with them. And then after a while, they discovered, man, we like being together so much that they started making albums. You've got Vivian Campbell playing guitar on here, not like he does in Def Leppard, but just some heavy rock guitar. Vinny Appice on the drums. Love that guy. Philip Soussan now is on bass. Their 3rd studio album. Definitely check this one out. Last in Line. Jericho. Now, my top 3 albums, you know what? They're interchangeable. I could really mix them all up, but I had to put them in some kind of order. So here we go. Number 3, my favorite heavy metal album of the year, by far, The Dark Tower by the Burning Witches. Man, if you like classic metal, you will like this album. There's the band right there. This has, you know, points of it where it kind of sounds a little bit like Iron Maiden, classic Iron Maiden, but they make it their own. You've got some of the, you know, scary voices, you know, that start out the song a couple times on here. It's just a fun, heavy, dark album. I love it. The vocals of Laura are really great on here. To me, it's all about metal, newer metal. I've got to be able to get into the singer. Most of the time I can't. This one I can. Totally dig this. Next up, wow, should we have expected this to be as good as it is? I'm talking about Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones. This is their first studio album in I don't know how long. I think it was 2007 since they put out A Bigger Bang. This is great. I love it. Mick Jagger sounds amazing. The songs are kind of all over the place. You've got some classic sounding Stone songs, but you've got like them doing a little bit different things on here, a little more slightly modern at times. I have listened to this and listened to it, and I have not got tired of it. It's a fantastic record. Once again, let me name drop Mike over at PC31 because he did an amazing review of it. I can't add anything more than what he said on there. You're going to have to check out his channel after you're done here. So we got to have something in number 1. How about Death Wish Blues by Samantha Fish and Jesse Dayton? Man, this is a fun album. This is blues. This is rock. This has got a little bit of funk thrown in there just for fun. I don't know whose idea it was to team up Samantha Fish and Jesse Dayton, but God love them, it was a great idea. These two work so well together. You've got songs that Samantha sings. You've got ones that Jesse sings. You've got songs that they both sing parts of. It works so well. Samantha Fish, another amazing guitar player and great vocals. They both, I love both their voices and the way they play guitar. This works so well. Great album from start to finish. Death Wish Blues. There you go, folks. Those are my top albums of the year. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much. If you actually stuck around and watched this whole thing, And to anybody that watches my channel on a regular basis, thank you so much and happy holidays. Till the next time, my friends, I will see you down the road.